Joining us now, running for mayor in Richmond. He has the lead. I predicted he was going to win, and he's got a big press conference today. Is getting into a battle with the Richmond Times-Dispatch that I thought did a horrible yellow journalism on Friday and some stuff that's coming out. And Joe Morrissey joining us now. Joe, you're here with Bill Stanley. Good to have you with us, man.
Good morning, John, and good morning, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing real well, JoJo. How you doing, my friend?
Terrific. I miss seeing you in Richmond. I hope you stop by the next time you're in town.
I definitely will. I've known Joe for 20 years. He's a guy I respect greatly. He's a great guy, a man of his word, and he does what he says he's going to do. I mean, great guy.
Okay, Joe, good to have you with us. I've still got you in the lead there. I still think you're going to win on first ballot. You had a press conference at your home on Friday in response to a Richmond Times-Dispatch story. You've got another press conference coming up today. You say you have some new evidence. Can you share with our audience, John, what went down?
Sure. Here's what we have coming up today. The woman, Miss Morris, made some allegations that after she got a jail sentence that she never raised before, and it's obviously was made in an attempt to keep her out of jail. So the Richmond Times-Dispatch ran with this story without doing any investigation, and since that time, every one of her allegations have been debunked. She stated that she met me alone and only me in my office. Well, we provided the statement that the lawyer that met with her, the intake sheet, she was with us the entire time. So that proved to be a lie. And then she said, well, I didn't know about this plea agreement until the last moment. Then we showed the letter that my associate that worked on her case for 3 months sent to her 2 weeks before. So we debunked that. And then in the last 2 days, 2 different inmates have come forward. They went to law enforcement and they said, listen, this woman was in the jail bragging about how she was going to set Joe Morrissey up in order to get out of jail, and that's exactly what she did. And those inmates will be portrayed today at the press conference. And then we're going to demand an apology and a retraction from the Richmond Times-Dispatch.
Okay, so you actually are going to have a press conference today, and you have these 2 witnesses?
Yeah. Plus the same, but Ms. Morris also made a statement to a deputy in the Richmond City, in the Henrico jail, that I'll do anything I have to do to get out of jail. And that person will be there. We will prove that these 2 inmates were with her, and I think that should be the nail on the coffin. The only issue is whether or not the Times-Dispatch will publicly apologize.
Well, and not only that, and Joe, this is Bill, what my reading of this is certainly with her criminal past, prior felonious conduct and convictions, the deal that she got, from what I'm reading, is an amazingly good deal. One that anyone else, any other lawyer would walk out of a courtroom after having struck that deal with the prosecution, and especially in light of what the crime was and what the time is. And any lawyer would have walked out of there and said, I did a good thing for my client that day. And the problem is that sometimes they don't appreciate, the client doesn't appreciate that. And what she may find is that in doing this, her sentence and her fate is much worse than what the Morrissey law firm obtained for her with not only adequate but good representation. So as a lawyer, I see it all the time.
You make a good point, Bill. She had 3 previous felony convictions, and then she had this other felony charge. So we fought like the Dickens in General District Court. It was certified, and then the lawyer in my office that handled the case, Paul Galanidis, is a former Henrico prosecutor for 9 years.
Great guy.
He recently joined me, and he worked for 3 months, and he got the felony reduced to a misdemeanor. And the Miss Morris was just absolutely ecstatic. Yeah. Thank God. And then, it was up to the judge to do the sentencing, and he gave her 90 days. And then she calls me and says, I can't do 90 days. You do something. Then text me, and we didn't do anything. There's nothing to do. And then she comes up with these spurious allegations. And you're right. She got a great deal. And it's unfortunate that the Richmond Times-Dispatch did not do their investigation beforehand.
And Joe, for those that aren't familiar with the criminal system, when you get a misdemeanor and the active sentence is 90 days, based on anticipated good behavior, it would only be actually pulling 45. Is that what she had to pull? Yeah. Right. I mean, so it wasn't 90 days in jail, it's 45 days in jail. And, that's something right there. Look, I've been doing this 23 years. I can tell you right now, if I get a felony from a three-time felon reduced to a misdemeanor, and that's jail time, not prison time, and get 45 days to pull, the client better be grateful. And you know what? They're not sometimes, because remember, these are people, and this is a generalized opinion, not about her specifically, but we're talking about people who have been over and over involved in criminal conduct, felonious criminal conduct. We are constitutionally bound to represent them with as much zeal as possible. And on top of that, when they're repeatedly committing crimes, sometimes there's no appreciation for the efforts that you do as a criminal defense attorney. And there's no appreciation sometimes for their own accountability. And that's what we try to, and I know Joe does the same. I've watched him practice for many years. You know, you try to have them change their lives with that kind of opportunity. And some people just will never take that opportunity to go in a new direction, and instead they blame everyone else except themselves for their own conduct. And I think that's unfortunately what we see here. She sees an advantage, in my opinion, and she's trying to take it because of the position that Joe's running for mayor. But ultimately, you know, she may get some upfront benefit because she's been released from jail. But I'll tell you this, she's probably, if they've pulled back on the deal, she may be recharged with that felony. I don't know what the circumstances are, but I tell you what, I don't think she'll get a better outcome now than she did from his law firm.
Which was basically the 90 days, right? She pleaded out to 90 days.
Let's say this. Let's say that the new attorneys negotiate a misdemeanor. Let's just say they do. Mm-hmm. The facts speak for themselves. You go back before the judge. What's he going to do? The facts haven't changed at all.
That's right. That's right.
I just, it's unfortunate, you know, in the last days of the campaign that they would do something like that, and it's something that we've never experienced before. So it's kind of chartering new waters, but we will see. You know. Hey guys, I've got a lot of campaign appearances today, so I'm going to go. But
Joe, I just got one other quick question, Joe. I was shocked by this Times-Dispatch story on Friday because even reading it, you know, we hadn't talked, but I just read the story and I said it didn't make any sense to me. Why would the Times-Dispatch, which, you know, is a legitimate media company, do this kind of a story on a Friday with no facts and no information? Why?
I don't understand, other than they are solidly behind my opponent, Jack Barry. They have done everything they could in 10 months to focus this election on Barry, and that they did not do their investigation that they now admit is flawed. And it is flawed because they didn't interview the two lawyers in my office, which is just disgraceful. Yeah. I think that, you know, at the end of the day, the truth will set you free, as you say, John, and there'll be a lot of sunshine and disinfectant put on this situation.
Here's why they did it: because he's winning, and they know he's got strong support, and so, you know, they want a story to fit their narrative, and that's what they've done here. And it's very unfortunate. I think, you know, the voters are the ones that make the decisions, and we've seen this over and over, not the media. You know, it reminds me, my dad used to lovingly say, "When I want your opinion, I'll give it to you." Well, this seems to be what the media thinks that they owe us or can command over us.
It's really unbelievable.
And that's a perfect example of what we're watching right now with Joe. And look, Joe's going to win. Joe's going to work hard. He's going to be a mayor that's going to repair schools. He's going to raise the standards of living in the hardest hits area of Richmond. And the other ones are just going to serve, you know, their political masters and those with big development dollars. They want to turn Richmond into a city that is on a brochure rather than helping the truly in need. And that's what Joe represents. So that's my personal
opinion.
Bill, and he's my friend.
Saying that. And John, thank you for having me on the show. And I'm going to campaign nonstop for the next 6 days and overcome this obstacle thrown in my way by the Richmond Times-Dispatch.
All right. And Joe Morrissey, remember, you said it earlier, and I keep telling you this, Joe, the truth will set you free. You keep plugging away. You're going to win this election, and the Times-Dispatch is not going to decide who the next mayor is. It's going to be decided by the voters of Richmond. So, Joe, thanks for being with us. Thanks for your candor. Always appreciated, Joe. Thank you.
Guys. Be good. Bill, take care and stop by Richmond when you pass through.
I will do that, my brother. Good luck.
Good luck to you, Joe.